Alright, Flintlock season is upon us, and I got the 50 cal TVM, and weather's been horrible. We don't have any snow. It's a light snow, mixed rain right now, so gotta keep that pan covered so the powder doesn't get wet. But we're basically gonna be doing the same thing that we're doing in rifle season. But what it makes it, the problem is it's gonna be that much more difficult because the deer are at the peak of their pressured state. We're going to look for deadfalls, thickets, and places near the stream and ridges. And we're going to try to use the wind and the terrain and the trees to our advantage to try to sneak up on these deer. Now, I'm hunting period correct around the time of the turn of the 19th century, I guess you could say. So that's why I'm dressed like this, is to actually get you guys interested in not only flintlocks, but the history on why we have a flintlock only season. You don't have to wear orange. It's a historical season that makes you appreciate the seasons that we do have. Now, it might seem like I'm walking fast, but I know usually right around in here I'm not gonna see any deer. My main goal is to spend the least amount of time hunting. It's about hunting smarter and not harder. So, you know, when you have work and other things, you want to try to get to those spots quickly, then slow your hunt down. So when I get close, I will literally be walking like a snail. I mean, I'll be crawling, walking so slow to get to those places to keep my movement down and the noise that my feet are making down. So right now, we're just gonna walk, and I'm gonna get close to that area to where I plan on seeing deer, then I'll slow down. This is one way I can cover a lot of land and get to where I believe the deer are gonna be. This is thick, nasty stuff. And I just caught the tips of his antlers. Did not realize I actually had to put the tripod. I had to use the camera on the tripod and lift the tripod up about 4 feet up over my head. I had to lift it up like this just to see down over the bank because all I could catch were points. Those were 2 really nice buck. That looks like the one I saw on the 3rd day of the rifle season. That makes me happy that there's 2 like that out there. Man, he was only 20 yards, but I had no shot. And he busted me walking down this road. I'm planning on going up and looking for deer in those pines because I kind of bypassed this thick area. Let's walk over here and see where he was. I mean, that's impossible to walk through. It's nothing but red briar, multiflora rose, and there goes another deer. But usually what I do is I'll walk through the bottom, and I don't walk through this stuff unless I'm trying to drive deer for other people. So I just bypass this. It's literally impossible to hunt. You can't archery hunt it. You can't walk through there and rifle. Even when there's snow and stuff, they lay in the thickest stuff. And that's where these bucks are at. They're laying where nobody's been walking through that much. But now, every now and then I walk up here and look down in, but I mean, there's so much thick stuff I would never have a shot. Now, whether I would shoot those bucks if I saw them, that's another thing. It looked really nice and wide, and that was pretty much all it had going for it. So I don't know what that other buck was. I don't remember seeing a buck like that, so I don't know if I'll run into those two deer later on or not. But you know, that's the way it goes. I mean, I'm trying to videotape also, so I'd like to try to get the shot on camera. I mean, I could have tried to run up here and try to, but that's not really an ethical way of trying to shoot the deer. So it's very encouraging to know two nice buck. Pretty much if they make it into the flintlock season, the chances of them making it the rest of the season are extremely high. So that's a big plus. And don't know where in the world he's walked, because I did walk through here one time during a drive for John and Luke on the last day of the rifle season, and these deer were not in this hollow, so they were somewhere else. So very, 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 very good to know. That's awesome. What happened is there was a small group of doe that I just happened to cross paths with, and I think they heard me. They didn't see me, and they ran up and met another group of deer that was coming my direction. So they kept looking back, and I was waiting maybe for a buck to follow them or something, because or somebody else was pushing the deer, and both of those groups of deer met right in front of me. But I didn't have a shot. There were deer behind other deer, there were sticks and branches in the way, and it was actually a pretty far shot. I mean, I had the camera zoomed in, so I was still just waiting for that one big doe to just give me that good shot. She just needed to take an extra step, and she never did. So I think they went up high on the hill, and I tell you what, all these deer are grouped. They're all herded up, and that happens in late season, which just makes it all the more difficult, because you have that many more ears, that many more noses. If you noticed, they were constantly wind checking. And now we're down in the hollow, and my scent may have been going towards them, but it swirls a lot down in the bottom. So they may not have been able to tell where the scent was coming from, but you can really tell they were looking all different directions. Their ears were twitching back and forth. Their noses were going 100 mile an hour, just all over the place. And that's is really, really difficult. That would have been a 100-yard shot through the woods. Too many bodies, too much movement. I wasn't taking a shot, just too many deer behind each other, jumping out in front of each other. It's a good problem to have, I guess. Well, it's Saturday morning, and the sun hasn't even come up over on this side of the hill yet. and I want to get out of here really, really early, because these rocks and deadfalls where the deer where they like to hide, I was trying to get there before the deer got to them. Doesn't always happen. Usually they're there before sunrise, but I was hoping if I got there early in the morning, I might be able to catch them coming in. Boy, I made a dumb mistake. I got there were no deer there. Now, there haven't been deer there the past 3 days I've hunted. So I thought, okay, for some reason the deer just are not coming to this spot. Maybe they're getting bumped out too often, but I'm not bumping them out, so I don't know why they haven't been in there. Then I start walking out along the ridge, and there, nice big 8-point, standing there. Doesn't even know I'm there. Now, I don't know if I video recorded him. I zoomed in to see how big he actually was. It looked like that big wide 8-point that I saw the other day. And he just turned and walked away down over the hill. So I thought, well, it's real wet. I'll be able to sneak up on him. Well, I get right to the edge where I can look down over, and here comes a young doe right up to me, and then another young doe, and then another young doe. And I wasn't going to shoot those ones. And then the next thing you know, here come the big does, 2 or 3 big does right behind them. And there was at least 8 or 9. They took off up the hill, and then they stopped up there. So I come down on the bottom. I did not see that buck with them. So he might have went past them before I ever spooked them. Don't know where he went, but I did not see any racks running through the woods, you know. So, if I would have been here, maybe another hour later, they'd have been held up right where I was expecting them to be. And, but you never know. They were on the direction to there, but they could have always turned and went up over the hill, because I've been seeing them in lots of different places. But I'm going to try to come down along the stream, use the stream to my advantage, sneak upstream, cut back up, and see if I can get ahead of those deer, because if they're not spooked real bad, they'll just slowly walk out along this ridge and until they find a thick spot. That thick spot's probably 300-400 yards away, so I'm going to try to cut down, get out in front of them, and just wait for them. If not, then I'm just going to kind of just walk around and see if I can run into deer like that again. That's the thing, if I wasn't hunting with the camera, that big doe, she'd have been dead. I'd have taken a shot right at her. She was only like 30 yards. So trying to hunt with the camera makes it a lot more challenging, and that's another thing. You know, if you're hunting with a video camera trying to self-film, you'll experience how difficult it is to try to sneak up on a deer, keep it from moving, get the camera set up, you know, and zoom in on the shot and take the shot. And that there too, I feel like this camera also makes me a better hunter, because I really, really have to be careful what I do and take my time with my movement and everything just to get that camera set up. So I think that adds a little bit more fun and an extra challenge to it. And it's just that much more rewarding when it all comes together, because then you got it all on film. The sun is coming out. That's not a good thing, because I'm kind of walking into the sun, which means if the deer are looking back into the woods, they're going to see me move so easy. But the problem is, I just spotted a deer, and it's skylined right on this ridge, and I just lost it. It's laying down. I don't know how I saw this, but this is a tough one. Already busted. I mean, there's no way I can get out of here or walk anywhere. I just happened to be walking behind this big giant oak tree, trying to keep the sun out of my face because I couldn't see walking up the hill. If I bump it, I'm going to keep walking out the ridge line and try to keep the sun to my back. Well, I was unable to get that deer. Obviously, it was going to be almost impossible, but it was laying right there. I was way down there in the woods. You can see this is an old dry pond right here. There's the overflow from when they were stripping coal on this property. So it's really thick, and that's where all those deer are, and it's almost impossible to walk through there now with the sun. They got in front of me. This is the worst type of hunting. It's sunny, everything glares, extremely hard to spot the deer. I just keep finding them on these edges, these benches. But boy, I tell you what, there's not just one or two deer there. There's like 6 or 7. And right when I think I'm sneaking up on a deer that isn't looking at me, there's one popped up on the right just staring at me. So I saw those deer. They saw something, but they didn't know what, so they just kind of went up over the hill. And I'm just going to keep trying to cut in front of them, trying to get out in front of them, see if I can get them to come past me. Those are the types of shots I've had to sit there and look at for minutes. There's always another deer right behind the other one. Oh, keep going. That's just what I'm doing. I'm just walking through the woods looking for colors. These trees right where I came from, you can see that it's walking out this road. Now this hemlock tree and these big 3 trees right here kind of blocked me until I saw them coming out around there. Now they saw me. They were trying to, be still and let me walk by, but I'm gonna keep walking out this road, and I'm just gonna keep trying to find these deer bedded. It's really windy a little bit ago. It's almost getting dark. We're supposed to get some rain. Just not ideal conditions, and it doesn't look like we're gonna get any snow. So, and it's hard to really videotape a period dress when you're trying to do reenactments with helicopters and airplanes flying around out in the distance. Trying to keep that from being in the video is nearly impossible. So, all right. Meh. Well, there's a whole group of them. I didn't want to shoot a little one. I got pretty much 2 days to hunt. All those deer, they just won't sit still. If I don't get a deer, it's my fault because I wasn't even taking shots at them. The other reason why I wasn't shooting is because it's getting dark. It's way down over the hill. Yeah, if I were to shoot one and it runs down even further down over to the creek, I'm gonna have a miserable time getting that out of there. And I don't want to be doing it at night. So if I don't get a deer or shoot at a deer, it's my fault. I mean, right there was a perfect opportunity, but just because of the location, I was actually on the way back to the truck. I was gonna quit for the day. And there they all are, and it's just like, it's very tempting if one would have given me the shot, but I mean, I probably would have, if it would have given me a really good shot, I probably would have shot, but I probably would have regretted it. Well, I don't miss that often, but there's a far shot down through the woods. Just so everyone knows, there's so many videos where the way the shot takes place that it either looks like it's a bad shot or something like that. Now, I'm not making excuses, but I'm just saying the camera and the camera angles are very, very deceiving through the footage and stuff. So if you notice how high this is, and I'm 6 foot, so, and it's at least another foot above my head is where the ball hit. Now, I was way up right by that tree is where I was standing. And I hit the tree, and that deer was still down here another 30 yards. So, I mean, I'm probably making a 75-yard shot down through the woods, maybe more. Yeah, getting close to 100, I'd say, maybe, actually, looking at it. So, and I'm shooting really, really downhill at like a 45-degree angle. That's why the ball rose, because I was shooting down so steep. And but even if the tree wasn't there, I don't know if that ball was still rising by the time it would have got to the deer, or if it would have lowered back down. I'm not sure, because there's still a lot of distance between this tree and the deer, so it's hard to say whether I would have spined it or it would have come down lower. From where I shot, this tree was really covering up a lot of the guts. So, I figured I'm either going to hit the tree or I'm going to make a decent shot of the deer, and, well, pulled a hair to the left and hit the tree. So, but anyways, that's just something to notice with the camera, because it looks like this tree was just literally just a few feet in front of the deer when it really wasn't. And look how up high the ball hit. And so that's some things with camera and videotaping the deer hunt, that it always looks different from the hunter's view and the camera's view, and especially trying to show you perception and things, it doesn't show up very well in the camera. Last last day of the season. Be a first time in a long time I didn't fill a tag. Now, it would be my fault if I didn't get a deer. I mean, I had plenty of opportunities, but again, hunting with the video camera. And like I said, I have enough meat for 2 deer. I'd like another one just to do some extra special things with the meat, but jerky and stuff. But we'll just have to see how today goes. Not looking too good for the last day. Whew. Man, I put on a couple miles with this gear on. I'm seeing more and more and more coyote tracks. It's ridiculous. Surprised I haven't seen one yet. But there have been some other hunters in the woods. And I tell you what, that one spot, camera doesn't show it, but there were deer in front of me, way out in front of me, and then they started running right behind me, and they were being pushed all different directions. They were panting, tongues were hanging out, and you would think that they would slow down, and that never stopped them. They went down the hollow, up the other side, up on top of the hill, and down the other side. And it's just, they're too pressured. And you know, we have about 275, 300 acres of private property, and that does not guarantee you're gonna kill a deer. I've pretty much said I'm gonna just try to shoot a deer without the camera in the last 5 hours of the hunt. I don't know, look at these coyote tracks. They're following the deer tracks, so I don't know, they got the deer spooked too, so it's crazy. There's my foot. I mean, these are big tracks, big pads. They're running this top hill like crazy. There you can see right beside it is a fox track. I mean, that is ridiculous how big that coyote is. I've seen some smaller tracks, but that's one of the biggest.